Hi, everybody. We are back, and thanks for watching. Whether you're watching live or on demand, we are talking today about a topic that not a lot of families may be familiar with just because you've never had to use it, but it's called the PAR, a personal assistance retainer. Have you ever heard of the PAR? Okay, so we are going to dispel the mysteries around the PAR today. And when you would use the PAR to pay your direct support professional, etc. And so the PAR, it's called a personal assistance retainer. So say, for example, goodness forbid, your son or daughter has to go into the hospital and you're not able to pay your direct support staff person for the time that they're in the hospital because it's considered double dipping, right? Because
Right.
yeah. So
we can never do two things at once.
exactly. Right. That's the thing. So then you could potentially use a PAR, a personal assistance retainer. Again, it's the recipient of waiver services. So if you go in the hospital, mom or dad, that's not what this is used for. It's for the recipient of waiver services if they're in the hospital or on vacation and not available to receive services, but you still want to retain your staff, right? Yeah. So that's when you could use a personal assistance retainer. Okay. So, and I think I'm really grateful that we have this option. And we want families to know about this option and utilize it so the state knows that we are needing this service, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, we're not able to pay certain other benefits, et cetera, but we can use this personal assistance retainer for up to 30 days per calendar year. Okay, so, and here's the caveat. It needs to be recorded on the rate sheet that you send to your fiscal agent. Okay, so they need to know what rate you want to pay for the PAR, right? So Mitzi, have you ever used the PAR?
I did. I just used it last week. So for example, Joshua and I were both out of the area on Friday, but I wanted the staff to be paid. And so I wanted to be paid the regular hours. So make it consistent, make the normal, like she works 8 to 4. And so she clocked in 8 to 4 under the PAR. And it was kind of cool because it gives you the boxes of either vacation or hospital. And then we had to check it off. And I thought it was great because it was a safety mechanism for us, a double check. I just think it's just a good way to keep your employee. They don't have to worry about it getting a second job, and also knowing that we're taking care of them while we're doing something and they're still getting paid. Because again, we don't get to pay them for days off. We don't get to pay them for vacation or extra. So it's just, I think I really am proud that we have it. It is a good thing.
Exactly. And so again, it's not for when the staff goes on vacation. I think there's some confusion around that.
It's Joshua. Yeah, Joshua was out. Right.
Yeah. The recipient of waiver services.
Not the employee, not the DSP.
Exactly. So you could, if you wanted to go ahead as you hire new staff, you could put the PAR on just in case, if you want to use it, et cetera. And so you'll be asked, as Mitzi just said, to justify when you enter the PAR or approve that time if it was hospital or vacation.
Yes, it's very simple. Yeah, and I in the beginning I used to not put it on the rate sheet when I would hire somebody, but I've just become systematic just because just easier to do it instead of having to put it on a rate sheet later, because it now states like it takes sometimes 2 weeks for them to get things in the process to change. So I just put it on there as any other code, like CAI, CLE, PAR, and everything. I keep it the same pay rate, but that's just me personally.
Yes. And I've also used it before. I've used it for, quite a few years. And I think I have found it very helpful to retain staff. So that's something for you all to consider, as well as folks are shouting out or watching the videos and shouting out to Mitzi and myself. So I wanted to go ahead and put some contact information at the bottom here of how to get in touch with us, email and our website. And then also we were just talking about before we came on about the amazing panelists that we have confirmed for the upcoming conference in August. So we're going to be hosting 4 panels. We have probably over 20 people that have confirmed their participation in the panel. We're going to be sending that out to you all very, very soon. And so we hope to see you in Atlanta on August 26th. Or you can watch virtually, of course, and we will be recording that day. So we hope to see you there. We're super, super excited. And don't forget to use the PAR. It is a resource for you. And oh, by the way, all of the videos that we are recording are also resources, and they're for general and education purposes only.
Right.
We can't advise you on certain things because you are the employer of record. We are not the employer of record for the waiver recipient that you support. So just wanted to reiterate that. And thank you all so much. And go forth and use the PAR when it's applicable and relevant in your waiver recipient's life.
Yep. We
All
hope you
right.
all have a really good 4th of July weekend and be safe.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, everybody, take good care.